Welcome to In This Season podcast, where we unpack the most empowering conversations, have exclusive and inspirational interviews, and host special events. Join Tammy, some call her Butterfly, and explore life's purpose by learning how to embrace each season of your life with confidence, strength, and purpose. Whether you're blooming in the spring, or shining in the summer, or embracing change in the fall, or gracefully hibernating in the winter, get ready to be inspired. Join us right here on this season of In This Season podcast with your host, The Butterfly. It's time, no matter what season it is.
Good morning, beautiful people. Who's coming in this morning early to feed the ducks with us? We have Latasha says, good morning, family, all the way from the ATL. Great everything and great Saturday, everyone. I believe that is Miss Brenda. Miss Brenda, good morning to you. It's showing as Facebook user again, but I believe that's you. So let us know, Miss Brenda, if that's you. Saying great everything and great Saturday, everyone. Good morning to you, Bebop.
Good morning, Mama. How you doing? I heard you call her Brendo there. You're thinking about me.
I know, yeah. I was pulling you in and talking to her at the same time. So,
yeah.
What's going on?
Good to see you. Nothing much. Just drinking my coffee.
Man, I messed
looking at the ducks walk
up this morning. I don't know what I did, but I had to throw some instant into the.
Oh, you didn't make it fresh?
Yeah, I did.
I can't really hear you.
Let me turn it on. All right, y'all, get your groove on. I did make it fresh, but it didn't turn out right for some reason. I don't know.
It'd be like that sometimes, though.
Yeah,
like sometimes you make coffee and it's just like, huh.
Yeah, and I feel like it's the same thing. Yeah, but I don't know. So I just added some instant to it and got it to at least I can drink it until I can get my next cup. So, good morning, everybody. Let's drink to that coffee. It was funny because you know what I did. I almost, for y'all who know about my my little cup situation here, where I talked about pouring my collagen in there. So I was fixing it, and I almost put the collagen in there before I poured the coffee. And I was like, nope. Oh no, you can't do that. And again, it reminded me of just making sure I have God first, that God is my first choice every day and in everything as best I can. But I love the little reminders from God when you're along the way. And sometimes, in the midst of trying to get things done and rushing, it's just like a sweet reminder of choose me first, choose me. I got you. So let's get into it, Brandon. So we can get out of here. We got some things to do this morning. So
sounds good. You already shouted out everybody in the chat, right?
Yes, everyone that has chimed in, I have chimed out.
Good morning, everybody. Please make sure that you're involved in that chat. But welcome, everybody, to the In the Season podcast. I am your co-host. That is your lovely main host, the butterfly herself, the transformation queen. All right, and I've seen that, guys. I've seen that. I've seen that complete change happen. So, but why are we here? We are here to read through and to grow through Daily Motivations for African American Success by Dennis Kimbro. This is the book. Make sure you go get it. Support that African American author. We have been going through this book since February. So it's 282 days, I want to say, right, Mom?
83.
Did I get it right this time? 83. I'm going to get it right one time. 283 days consecutively of reading this book. I think there might have been one time, I think, where something happened. But other than that, we have been very consistent in being here every single morning at 7 a.m. Now, a little bit more about this book and exactly why we're reading it. So Daily Motivations for African American Success will help you focus on the thoughts, attitudes, and deeds that will lead to the achievement of your true goals. In 365 short, powerful motivations, one for each day of the year, Dennis Kimbro, who's also the author of Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice, leads us to discover how to use the present moment and our own gifts to transcend labels, cultivate a positive attitude, become wise enough to know when to say yes and when to say no, and how to look inward for answers to life's challenges. Each motivation begins with words of wisdom from such distinguished and celebrated African Americans as Malcolm X, Marion Wright Elderman, Whoopi Goldberg, Charlene Hunter Galt, Bill Cosby, Carl Rowan, Mother Hale, Reverend Leon Sullivan, and hundreds of others. This treasure trove of practical inspiration will give you fresh encouragement every day of the year, but what it teaches will last you a lifetime. All right. So,
All right.
ready to jump right into it, Mo?
Let's jump right into it. Let me see. We do have someone that has just, let me read our comments here. We just have, so Miss Brenda says, it is me, Tammy. It's Miss Brenda Davis, our Facebook user. Not sure
Are we still having that issue where it's not showing the person's name?
Right. Yeah, I can see our listener from YouTube, which is Latasha, but no, I can't. It doesn't say who Miss Brenda is, so
They
maybe
don't want us to know who you
get
are.
that worked out.
Yeah, we'll figure out. Oh well, we're just happy that you're here. Whether your name shows up or not, we'll get that right on the back end side. And Mom, you might need to go make you some more coffee. I can just tell by
the. I don't know what happened.
Well, no worries, it'll be like that. But all right, let's go to it. What's today? November the 9th. November the 9th. So today's reading is titled, I'm a Soul Man.
I'm
a soul man. And Mary McLeod Bethune, who we've talked about, we've had a passage about her, said, the secret of being a saint is being a saint in secret. Ooh, I like that. The secret of being a saint is being a saint in secret. Many years ago, there lived a man so spiritual that angels came from heaven to see how one could be so godly. This kind and gentle soul simply went about his life radiating love. 2 words summed up his outlook. He gave and he forgave.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say that again. He gave and he forgave. Yet these words never fell from his lips. They were expressed in his ready smile and his kindness, love, and goodwill. Because of his countenance, the angels asked the Creator, O Lord, grant him the gift of miracles. God replied, I consent. Ask for him whatever you wish. What do you desire? Cried the angels to this humble servant. What can I wish for? Asked the holy man. That God give me his grace? He's already done that. The angels insisted. You must ask for a miracle or one will be forced upon you. Very well, said the man. My wish is that I do a great deal of good without ever knowing it. The angels were even more perplexed. They took counsel together and developed the following plan. Each time the man's shadow fell behind him or at his side, it would have the power to cure disease, soothe pain, and comfort sorrow. And so it came to pass. As this gentle man walked life's paths, his shadow caused withered plants to bloom and gave clear water to muddy streams and joy to unhappy people. And the people, respecting his humility, followed him closely, never speaking about his miracles. Little by little, they came even to forget his name and call upon him only the Holy Man. By radiating love and kindness, each of us has the power to do good without realizing it. And our affirmation for the day is, as I grow older and wiser, I will talk less, but say more. I'm a soul man. I like that one. That might be one. That's one of my favorites right there.
Yeah. Made me think about how you said take your souls to the polls the other day, right? Yeah. Yeah. I like this one. Really, the quote, the secret of being a saint is being a saint in secret so often. And I think we talked about this a little bit the other day, how we just want to be so public sometimes, even in our praying and things like that. Like we just, it's so, and not
Extra.
yeah, it's like I don't, when I'm in the midst of the spirit, like, don't touch me, don't, like, it's almost as like you, it's so different. It's a different world. I'm not saying people are not there, but I'm just saying it is difficult for me to go out, in the park somewhere to pray. Imagine Jesus went up to pray and he would have took his cell phone so y'all can just see him just praying, and he's got to move it. So where's the focus? Is it truly, are you truly giving your all? And maybe that you're not giving out do you have the capability of doing so? Because it is a distraction. I mean, I'll see people trying to bless people and film it. And it's just, I don't know, y'all. I like this. There'll be times where I see someone post on Facebook and I'll send them a private message.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what can I do? I saw your message on there. But that could be just me. I don't always want people to know what I do for people or what I'm saying to them. I just don't. I just don't. Now there be sometimes I'll share what I've done for reasons, but just for the
Did we
sake,
lose her there?
huh?
Oh, it looked like I lost you for a second. It might have been on my end.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see it over here, but y'all, this is a great one. I would say read it, contemplate on it, take it home, and try to be a saint in secret. Try to be this holy woman or this holy man I really love. He gave and he forgave. That's deep. He gave and he forgave. And then even when he was asked, about his desire, he goes, "What can I wish for?" Asked the holy man. God gives me grace. He's already done that. And I feel like when we become thankful for what we have, right? For what we have. Because y'all, at the end of the day, if you've had shelter and food, right? And we can add to that sound mind. You can hear, you can taste, you can smell, right? Because I can even put the home in it. And some people we have deemed as homeless, but to them, that has become their home. Their box has become their home. Under the viaduct of the interstate has become their home, right? And so then even in that, it's how we look at it. Because you tell me your story, and I'll tell you someone's story who is surviving, who has a story, may not be the same story. They have a story that they're surviving, that we would crumble in, even with having a house, stove, refrigerator, microwave, you know, toaster oven. I'm trying to name some things. Think about all this. So what's the new thing, the
Air
new
fryer.
air fryer? You'll see all these things we have when we just came from a oven. The bottom of the oven, a broil, was the toaster. Like Brandon talked about, the jar, the jelly jar became the glass. You know, we made way, creative thinking. We were thankful. We didn't look at it because we was drinking out the, we drank that red Kool-Aid out of that grape jelly jar. We didn't think about, man, this is an old glass. This is a jelly jar. You know? So be a saint in secret first in your own life, so that you can bless people. Your cup will runneth over in your saucer too. Forgive, as it says here, give and forgive. It says he gave and forgave. I think that alone, I mean, that's speaking to me. I'm getting better at it. I'm getting so much better with forgiving people because my heart is changing. And that's what has to change, your heart. Sometimes we try to, bake the cake without the cake pan or something to pour it in. And you can put that baby together, but if you don't have anything to pour it in, can't bake it in that bowl, you know? So your heart has to change. So guard it, right? Guard it. And it's okay to do that. it's okay to guard your heart, right? But at the same time, it has to be open. You can't, don't, why would you guard a closed heart, right? But do open your heart and then, yes, guard it, for out of it flows the issues of life. All right, over to you, Brandon.
Mm. Caught me right when I was sipping that
Don't
coffee.
be drinking that coffee in front of me either.
Hey man, that it ain't my fault. But if I could give you some, I would. But you'll get you some, I'm sure. But y'all, I really, really like this one. I enjoy. Um, I don't know. This one's a very intimate, introspective one. It's not one that is so much. Even though it's not one that's so much turned outward or speaking about your relation to the world or how you see things and people and situations, but rather this is about how you see yourself. This is about um, how you introspectively change yourself or basically checking and purifying your intentions with the good that you might do. And I think we touched on this a little bit yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
but if you're doing good and you're seeking some type of uh, return from people, you may get it sometimes. You may get a thank you. You may get a gift on your birthday. You may get a thought. Shoot, you may even get a prayer from a good person. Um, but if that's where your intention rested, then that's where I mean, if that's where your intention was, that's where your intention will rest. That's where your intention will end. And I think going a step further in doing goodness for goodness sake um, is the next step. And then I'm reminded of in the Bible when the man came up to Jesus, peace be upon him, and said, some translations say good teacher, other ones say good master. Oh, good teacher. And he basically is asking him, what is the way to everlasting life? And the first thing that Jesus said was, why dost thou call me good? Right? Why dost thou call me good? Basically, and that there's only one that is good. And so when I hear the word do goodness, or when I hear the phrase do goodness for goodness sake, that goodness, the ultimate goodness is with God, right? So like I think our intentions should rest there because that's an infinite source. Because if you're looking for the recompense from people, that's one level, but it can be somewhat, it's good, but it can be somewhat shallow in the benefit that it plays. And then your knowledge of what you do, and this is why I think the man in this story asked to not know about the good that he's doing, because the knowledge of your good can compel you to see yourself in this grandiose station, right? And it can you can start to seat yourself above instead of you'll see yourself giving handouts, right? Instead of a hand up, you'll see yourself talking to people as opposed to with people. There's something that can pull at your ego. What do you think, Mo? Do you agree?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. It is.
there's a temptation there. There's a test there for you to maintain your humility, which is what it
Mm-hmm.
mentioned about the people that were close to him and that followed him. They respected his humility, it said, I think was the exact words. They respected his humility and therefore followed him closely, but never spoke about his miracles.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so what does that tell you? That the the decree of God in this story and what he asked for was to never know. So that miracle was also affecting the people around him, not
Mm-hmm.
just in them being benefactors of um, of his shadow, but and just of being around in his presence, but they were also forced by decree to not tell him of his good.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Because if they did, then that would nullify his request for the miracles and to do good that he would not know of. Because if they told him, then all this obviously he would now know,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's interesting how what you pray for can sometimes be your blessing and someone else's, or it can affect you and others, right? And then it just shows how amazing the Creator is, to where you can make up in your own mind, I am going to pray for this. And what you're praying for is part of, and if you get it, part of what you pray for and what you've received is provision for someone else too. That was already written for that person. You were the avenue for which God blessed somebody, right? The tool, the medium. And God already knew you were going to repent. God already knew you were going to be guided towards him, and used you in that possibility. I find it, I don't know if that's getting too deep in it, but I find it very interesting how God is the best of planners. Like, you can make all the plans that you want in the world, but God already had it worked out. You might have been in that situation just to be in a position to turn to God, and that completely changed your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
It completely changes your life. So, are you a soul man? The secret of being a saint is being a saint in secret. And look at you know, the worldview of the man. And I know we got to get up out of here soon, but the worldview of the man, the holy man, he said, "What can I wish for?"
Yeah.
He's already in a state of gratitude, right? He's not one that's coming to God and saying, "I want this, I want that." He said, "You already gave me everything. You gave me life. I'm grateful." It says in the Quran that basically the main goal of Satan is to, or Iblis, we call it, is to make you ingrates. That's the main goal, to make you an ingrate. What is an ingrate? Someone who's not grateful, right? Who's not full of gratefulness for the Creator. So when you start to um, feel entitled to the blessings from God, you feel entitled in your abilities, your provision, entitled to the things that you might have in this life without giving due credit and due praise and due glory to your Creator. It can not only be taken away from you, but it is a corruption of your own heart and soul. And so I think that's what the man mostly wanted, was to never tempt he didn't want to add temptation to his heart and to his own soul, and he wanted to continue to purify himself. It was a methodology of purification, not so he wasn't stuck on the action. He was more interested in the purification and keeping his own self, his own heart, his own intentions pure. You see what I'm saying? He didn't want to
And I think
muddy.
like serving, he was interested in being a servant of God and wanted people to see God, the grace of God upon his life, and not because sometimes I thought just him saying, what, like, basically what am I going to ask for? He's already given me grace.
Right.
Remember, we talked about that yesterday. It's like, if you want people to have, if you want grace, because God's giving you grace, you better have grace for people. Allow
Yeah.
people to live and do, because sometimes, most times, y'all, in all times, when you see people wrapped up in something, God, that just may be the very thing that God is going to use to pull them closer to Him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we never know. They have to show up, of course. They have to show up. But sometimes we get so wrapped up. What was it, yesterday or day before? We get so wrapped up in what it looks like. We get so wrapped up. You could imagine if you got this, somebody's giving you a gift and the box is so small. like not to the point where maybe not even a ring, or because you think, is could be in there, so small, but they could have wrapped a tiny piece of paper up. They could have written something on the paper that guarantees you to get something big. And oftentimes we look at what people look like, right? As they go through what you see them going through, not realizing that God is growing them. Because he says, count it all joy. When's the last time you've seen yourself going through something and you, instead of counting it joy, saying, okay, God, like Brandon says, what is it? What is it that you want me to catch here? Right? Because only how you are, how you do everything, anything is how you do everything. This reminds me of oneness. First, oneness with himself, right? And then oneness with the creator. Because again, if you're fighting yourself, and most of us are, you're fighting God. Imagine that. So it's oneness to me. And there's this, I guess I call it a quote, but it says, and you guys probably heard me say this, when you can no longer tell the dance from the dancer. Like the dancer has learned to dance to her own, his or her own music, until, imagine this, y'all, just maybe later, just vision someone dancing before you, right? And they're so into it that you don't see the person anymore, right? You don't see really sometimes the dance, you just see the movement because it's so flowing till it's just a beautiful thing. So imagine that. And if you don't get it right now, let it simmer. Because the first time I heard it, I thought, that's deep. When you can't tell the dance from the dancer, that means that dancer knows his or her thing. They have practiced that move until you can barely see their body. Or you can imagine with the, what you call it, the karate and the steps you do when you, I mean, really, when they're moving, it becomes language.
Expression, as Bruce Lee called it.
Yeah.
He called it like a pure expression.
Yes, it speaks to you.
I mean, interrupt, but I remember Bruce Lee would say, I don't throw the punch throws itself. I don't think in fighting, or he said, I'm expressing myself. It's pure.
Right.
And I think you're onto something. And that's why he said, like, be water, be a medium. Water is a type of medium. He said, if the water can, basically, like, water can flow like a river, or it can crash, very, very hard, like a waterfall, or it can be poured into a cup, and in each space that each space that it goes, it fills it up and forms, changes its form to adapt to its surroundings. But it's interesting, being that I think the way that it carries over is, if you can purify yourself, then you can be a pure vessel for God. And one of the things that shows that, and I'm speaking to myself first, is making me realize, some of these be more aware of these realities, that if you're a true servant of the most compassionate, and you've purified yourself, you're a medium to which God flows through you. In my opinion, this is my opinion. I do a lot of things where I'm referencing to verses or things like that, but this here, I'm not. This is just my own personal belief, that when you purify yourself, now you have the ability to impact and to caretake for those around you. It's interesting. It says, in the Quran, though, it says, the true servants of the most compassionate are those who walk on the earth humbly. And in some translations, it'll say gently, right? Be gently upon the earth. And when the foolish address them improperly or with ignorance, they respond in peace. They only respond with words of peace, right? Or actions of peace. And so, like, when you're incited and people are coming at you, and all you have to blow back at them is peace, right? And it's not saying to be a pushover or anything like that. Like, there's preservation, but your intention is not defiled. Your intention is not evil, right? You can righteously fight back and defend yourself and protect others, and uh, be just and institute and execute justice from a righteous place, but you can also do it from an evil place. There's so much that's carried through the intention, right? And in this world between us, we don't care what you intended.
Mm.
It's about the effect or the action, right? It's about what was the result. But with God, I think there's more to it than that. God knows what we reveal and what we hide.
Mm.
He knows the intention of our heart. He's closer to us than our jugular vein, right? And so if you're giving charity from a place of wanting to impress people instead of impressing God, um, that's you won't get those blessings because your intention was to impress those people. In everything that you do, can you be the most pure? Purify your heart, purify your intention. I'll say this, and then I got to get up out of here. I spoke about my friend Jeremiah a day or two ago. I remember when I had just become Muslim, like in the last couple of months, and he was actually the brother in college that I asked the most questions. He was already Muslim, and I had asked him questions about Islam and just about belief in God being one and the oneness of God. And I lived in this place where you had to I could see him coming to my door at my apartment. And so I watched him as he came to the door, and he was about to knock, and he stopped and he stepped back for a second and he put his hands up like this, and he supplicated to God, or he prayed to God, right? And I remember seeing him and I was like, huh, that's interesting. And he took a deep breath, and then he knocked on the door. And I went down and I asked him, I was like, bro, I saw you from my window. What were you doing down there? He was like, I was purifying my intention. I was like, what do you mean purifying your intention? He was like, I was purifying my intention you know, um, for the reason that I was coming over here, that I would be in a good state, that whatever would happen here and whatever we would talk about and whatever we would do would be a benefit to us in this life and in the hereafter. And I was like, wow, and I think that was a defining moment in my friendship with him. And that's like my best friend. That was a defining moment in my friendship with him. And I was like, man, I got to keep this guy around. You know, I became the person um, who, followed someone, and respected his humility and followed him closely, you know. And now I'm not like that. I'm speaking of the goodness of him, but it meant a lot to me for a friend of mine to be that aware of the spiritual impact of his proximity with him, with us and other people, and just the relationships that we have upon each other. Every time you're around people, you're being tested in some way.
Mm.
There's an account. There are angels that are. This is where we get these sentiments from. People don't know, like when they say you have the angel on this shoulder and the devil on this shoulder. Well, in Islam, this is a real thing, with one correction, that you actually have an angel on your left and an angel on your right. And the angel on your right is writing all of your good deeds down, while the angel on the left is writing all of your sins down. And they change shifts. You know what I mean? Like there's an entire process. So everything that you do, everything you've done, is being written in a record in my faith tradition. Is being written in a record, and you will hold this, and you will basically read it yourself and reveal it yourself on Judgment Day. So imagine what's in your book of life, right? And imagine, ask for God to delete the ill that was in there, and God can forgive you. And when God forgives you, it's completely gone. You know what I mean? But just realize that, and and I said this yesterday, I think, but worship God as if he sees you.
Mm-hmm.
Live as if God is, oh no,
Right.
excuse me. Like live and worship and be as if you can see God.
Right.
Imagine that. As if you could see God. And if you can't do that, then know that God sees you.
Yeah.
So walk gently upon the earth, guys, and be humble and take this story for more consideration. This is probably my favorite. I like this.
Yeah. Brandon, really quick, you mentioned about something about God uh, being through you or walking through something. What was it about God being through you?
I was just saying when you're to purify your heart so that you can not
No,
only
not
save
that
you,
part. Not that
yeah,
part.
like
You mentioned about this what it made me think of, like so often how when I say don't wait on God, wait in God, right? Wait in him.
like immerse yourself.
Right. And then
Okay.
like God allowed God to be in you, right? In you rather than around you, right? Because sometimes we say, God, where are you? And he's been right there all along, just waiting for you to let me in. Seek me. Seek and you shall find, right? And then in your heart, you have to open your heart so that God can come in and transform, be you transformed by the renewing of your mind, right? So, in order for your mind to be renewed, your heart has to change, and that can only be through God, right? So, God is always around you, but is He in you? Is He in you, right? So that will turn you into a soul woman or a soul man. So y'all go be great, Brandon. Let's get out of here so we can go do
Let's
what
get
we.
out of here. I keep seeing more stuff in this too. I'm
I
like,
do. This is a
oh,
good one.
what?
This is a
Okay.
good one. This is a good one.
But I ain't gonna give it all away. I'm not even sure if I'm right, in this. But there's some. If you guys have the book, go back and read this one a little bit more closely. I think there's a few more golden nuggets that we haven't discussed, just yet. So we're gonna leave this one for more time for contemplation. Mom, you two go back and read it. I think there's a couple
I
a
will.
couple gems in there that we
Yeah,
haven't
we'll
looked
have a little
into
bit
yet.
more time tomorrow. Maybe we can talk a little bit about it. And y'all got to talk more. Y'all got to. This ain't just about Brandon and I. Y'all got to put y'all's pen on this. Put your pen. Not the pencil. Put your pen on it. You got something to say about these things, or you should. You should, even if it's the next day. Don't come here every day and let it be in vain. Speak. Speak. It may be different. You could help us see something differently or more. So, all right, Brandon, let's
Yeah,
get
man,
out.
you gotta get at it because I'm about to tell y'all.
I know. So
I'm
let's
about
get
to
out of
tell
here
y'all what I see. But all right, y'all. Well, thank you for
tomorrow.
joining
Let's
us.
spend about
Yeah.
10 minutes tomorrow on that.
Okay. Okay. Hopefully I
Okay.
remember.
I'll remind you.
Okay. Okay. Well, y'all, thank y'all for rocking with us. We appreciate y'all. We love you, and I'm just grateful that y'all come here every morning. It's good to see the same people coming. And I would like my Uncle Mike tells me. He's told me I'd rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies. You know, I'd rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies, and I think that's what you all are to me. So today on November 9th, our title was "I'm a Soul Man," and again, we're reading through Daily Motivations for African American Success by Dennis Kimbro. The title was "I'm a Soul Man," and Mary McLeod Bethune, the educator, said the secret of being a saint is being a saint in secret. And our affirmation for the day is as I grow older and wiser, I will talk less, but say more. As I grow older and wiser, I will talk less, but say more. All right, guys, this is the End the Season podcast on day 283. Make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn on those notifications if you want to be notified every time we go live. All right, y'all. We love you. Take care. Share. Peace.
My friend, you didn't do it. No.
Which way
Oh,
you going? Which way you going? Hey, there you go. See, I figured out I gotta go opposite. There you go.
You almost
huh? Kind of got to be a flow like that. Yeah, I might even have to do it a little early. There's a slight delay in this, but okay, we got it. Look,
I did 2-step again. All right,
you did 2-step, half-step. You doing it all.
Go be cool.
I love you, Mama. Good to see you, baby. All right, y'all. Peace.